Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the electric revolution and how electric vehicles are shaping a sustainable future. So, the transportation sector is one of the biggest source of pollution in the world. So, traditional petrol and diesel vehicles releases large amount of carbon emissions that contribute to climate change. Electric vehicles, also known as EVs, are emerging as a cleaner and more sustainable alternative. So many countries, companies and consumers are now moving towards electric mobility. So in this presentation, we will explore the growth of electric vehicles, global market trends and challenges, and the future of EV technology. So next slide about a global surge EV sales hit new heights. The global demand for electric vehicles has been increasing very rapidly in recent years. According to recent market data, around 1.1 million electric vehicles were sold worldwide in February 2026 alone. When we look at the first 2 months of the year, January and February together recorded around 2.2 million EV sales globally. So this shows that the electric vehicles market is growing at a very fast pace. There are several reasons for this strong growth. Like one important reason is the increasing awareness of um, many people today are more concerned about climate changes and looking for sustainable alternatives to all traditional vehicles. So another reason is the development of better technology, which has improved performance of driving page, so range of electric vehicles. So governments are also playing a major role by offering subsidies like tax benefits and to encourage consumers to purchase EVs. So in additional, the explanation of charging infrastructure such as fast charging station in cities and highways has made electric vehicles more convenient to use. So because of these factors, the global EV market is connecting to grow and expecting to export more in coming years. And next slide, Europe, the engine of EV growth. So Europe has become one of the leading in adoption of electric vehicles. So in early 2026, the European EV market showed strong momentum with approximately 21% growth in year-to-date sales. So one of the main reasons for this growth is the strong support for government and poly markets in Europe countries. So the Europe Union has introduced strict regulation to reduce carbon emissions for vehicles. As a result, automatically manufacturers are increasingly producing electric vehicles to meet these environmental targets. So, in addition to regulations, many governments in Europe for reduction purchases and lower registration fees for electric vehicles. Another important factor is the rapid development of charging infrastructure across Europe. Many cities are highly how many easily accessible charging stations, making it more convenient for EV owners. Because of this, supportive policies and infrastructure, more improvements, Europe has become one of the most important market driving the global electric vehicles revolution. So next slide about the future is electric. The future of transportation is expected to be electric as more countries and companies focus on reducing pollution. And the carbon emission electric vehicles are becoming more popular because they are environmentally friendly and more energy efficient than transportation petrol and diesel vehicles. So governments are supporting EV adoption through like investment in charging infrastructure. At the same time, improvements in battery technology and increasing driving range and reading cost. As technology continues to advance and more affordable models are introduced to electric vehicles are likely become the main form of transportation in the coming years. So next slide about challenges of electric vehicles. So although electric vehicles offer many benefits, there are still some challenges that need to be addressed. One major challenge in the high initial cost of electric vehicles compared to traditional petrol or diesel cars. Even though price or decreasing EVs can still be expensive for many consumers. So another challenge in the limited availability of charging infrastructure is the same reason many areas still do not have enough changing stations, which can make long distance travel difficult. So changing time is also an issue because changing an electric vehicle can take longer than refueling a petrol car. So additionally, there are more concern about battery reusable and recycling, since EV batteries contain materials that must be managed carefully. So despite these challenges, ongoing technical improvements and government supports are helping to solve issues, making electric vehicles more like they are making issues making electric vehicles more practical for the future. Thank you. So next we move into North American a market in transition. So the electric vehicles markets in North America is also evolving, but it is currently facing some challenges. In February 2026, EV sales in North America increased slightly, showing about 8% monthly growth. However, when looking to the year-to-date figures, the market experienced a 36% decline. So the decline is mainly due to policy uncertainty and changes in consumers' sentiment, particularly in the United States. Some government initiates the policies have changed which has temporarily affected consumer demand for electric vehicles. So despite these challenges, many automobiles manufacturers are connecting to invest heavily in EV technology. So companies are introducing new electric models, improving battery performance and developing better charging solutions. So in additional new governments, policies and initiatives expanded support to EV market in the future. Because of these efforts, the North America EV market is expected to recover and continue growing to coming years. So next slide about China adjusting and export. So China plays a very important role in the world, like global electric vehicle industries. It is currently the largest EV market in the world and produces a significant percentage of global. So electric vehicles. In recent years, China has adjusting its domestic market policies, including introducing the new purchases taxes and modifying government incentives. So, despite these changes, China continues to remain highly competitive in the EV industries. See, one of the biggest achievements of China's manufacturers is their rapid expansion into international market. So, in fact, China electric vehicles exports have more than doubled year on year, especially to Europe and other emerging markets. China's companies have developed strong expert in battery production, manufacturing efficiently and cost reduction, which allows them to produce affordable electric vehicles. Because of this, China is becoming a major global supplier of electric vehicles. So the next slide about the tipping point, affordability and adoption. So one of the biggest factors influencing EV adoption is affordability. So in the past, electric vehicles were considered expensive compared to petrol or diesel vehicles. However, this situation is changing rapidly. For example, in Europe, the price of battery electric vehicles decreased by around 4% in 2025. So this reduction is priced mainly due to improvements in battery technology and large-scale production. And manufacturers produce more electric vehicles, the cost of production decreases, making EVs more affordable for consumers. So another important development is the introduction to new of affordability EV models across different vehicles categories, including compact cars, family SUVs, and commercial vehicles. So experts believe that electric vehicles may reach price parity with internal combination vehicles by around 2023. By 2030, especially in smaller vehicle segments. So once EVs becomes affordable as a traditional cars, adoption rates are expected to increase significantly. So next slide about lower cost, higher performance. So I will explain in detail. So electric vehicles are becoming more popular because they offer low cost and better performance. Like battery technology has improved, which has reduced the cost of EVs. So electric vehicles also have fewer moving parts, so maintenance costs are lower compared to petrol or diesel cars. In addition, EVs provide instant, which means faster acceleration and smoother driving with improved battery range and efficiency. Electric vehicles are now more practical and affordable for customers. So next moving to another slide. So beyond cars, electrification spreads. So electric mobility is not limited to passengers cars. So many other types of vehicles are also becoming electric. For example, electric buses are increasingly being used in public transportation systems around the world. These buses help reduce pollution in cities and improve air quality. So another important category is two-wheelers or three-wheelers, such as electric scooters, motorcycles, and auto rickshaws. These vehicles are especially popular in emerging markets because they are affordable, efficient, and environmentally friendly. In addition, electric technology is expanding into commercial vehicles, including deliveries, vans, and trucks used by logistics companies. Many companies are adopting electric fleets to reduce fuel cost and carbon emissions. This expansion of electrification across different types of vehicles shown that the transition to electric mobility is happening across the entire transportation sector. So next slide about the road ahead continued acceleration. So the future of electric vehicles looks extremely promising. By the end of 2024, global electric car sales had already exceeded 17 million units. So this means that more than 20% of all new cars sold worldwide were electric vehicles. The total global electric vehicles felt reached nearly 58 million vehicles, which shown how quickly EV adoption is increasing. So, electric vehicles are also happening reduce global dependence on oil. In fact, EVs are already displacing more than 1 million barrels of oil per day, which contributes to reducing fossil fuel consumption. With continuous innovation in battery technology, faster charging solution and better infrastructure, the electric vehicle market expected to grow even faster. So in the coming decade, electric vehicles are likely to become a dominant part of global automotive industries.